school. I went to a day school in Swaziland. So I'm very familiar with the ideals, and I just wanted to hear from you, especially with teaching, and I'm sure it's a good segue about communication. What have you felt is the opportunities you're learning in education through this crisis, especially in this year?
Okay, thank you so much. And so, in March, when this pandemic was already in Africa, in multiple countries, we were obliged to close. This is what happened here in Rwanda. We closed schools, and then we went back home. So we did not know what will happen after. So students might call you because you are the only person they know. They cannot call the government, they cannot call like the president of the school. So they call you as a teacher, someone who is always with them. Then they call you, they ask you, so what's next now? So we're about to graduate. When are we graduating? So then you don't have responses to those questions. But after like 2 months, we got a solution where we said, but we can teach online. So luckily, all our students have laptops. So because this is a school which gives laptops to students, internet and what. So we are more digital. And then we said, so we have laptops. Why can't we develop an online curriculum where we can still teach being at home? So we had many challenges with students living in rural areas where they cannot get electricity, where even a connection is not good. But we tried our best, and we could enroll our students in an online program which helped them to complete their studies. So we were remaining with only one trimester, which was the last one before we closed the year, and we were able to do that. So this was because of technology and media. So we were able to engage students via Zoom meetings, via WhatsApp, engaging, like you create a WhatsApp group, and then it's no longer WhatsApp. You see people like like to say that WhatsApp is like for chatting, but you can also use WhatsApp in a business. So we could engage students through WhatsApp groups, and then you engage them, you share materials, you ask them questions, and then you have a live session like you have it when you are in class. And if it's very important, you schedule a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet, then you meet with students, you engage with them, then we're able to complete the trimester. So of course, there are students who were left behind, especially those ones who could not have access to internet, or those ones who had already left the town with no laptops, since it was not easier for us to take those laptops to them where they were in the rural area. But when they came back after now it's like we are after the crisis, even though it is still here now. So we are able to control some of the things, and then the movement is back and we can teach. We are now back on school, we can teach, but also observing COVID-19 prevention measures. So those ones who did not complete the trimester, we are engaging them now. But you see, technology really was very important. And so someone talked about increasing the price of internet. This happened even here. It happened, I think it was in July, when some of the packages of internet which were not expensive were removed, and then we were obliged to buy expensive packages. And then we could ask ourselves, so the government is encouraging people to do their work online from home, and people here are now increasing the price of internet. So what is the reason behind? So we could not understand, and even now it's like that. Internet is very expensive here in Rwanda, but we are trying. So you try, if you had to use 10K for internet, you increase, you make it 20, because it's the way you have to go. So media technology is playing a great role in what we are doing, and this is even what I learned. I could not understand or think that I can work from home like 6 months, but it happened and the work was effective. So really, those people are working in media technology. They are doing a great job, but also the government would look at the devices, the internet that we need. How can this be more accessible than it is today? Because it is helping us to solve most of the challenges that we had in the beginning of this crisis.
That's very interesting, because what it's making me realize is, you know, the opportunity works both ways, for good and bad. It's like same thing in America. The prices, Amazon put their prices up. You know, they saw the opportunity, but at what cost? And this is where I'm also rethinking empathy as a leader. Something that has been really blatant to me is that COVID, much like HIV actually, I think flourishes on a social hierarchy. So the people that are getting really affected are the people at the bottom of the social hierarchy. So just as you're saying, okay, we find a solution to teach digitally, but not everybody has the privilege of internet or a laptop. I know that Davis schools generally, like, they have more privilege, right? Where the institution itself has more resources and backing up. What would you advise for education places where it's in the rural areas and they don't have the same resources that the Davis College Fund does?
Okay, so this really has been also a problem for most of the schools here in Rwanda, because I know during the pandemic, only a few schools were operating, and other schools, like those ones with no opportunities, were obliged to close. But what I know is with the help of the government, you see some schools seem to be private, but when it comes to educating, it's educating the children of the country. And no government should say that a school is private, because the students or the children that people are educating are children of the country. So sometimes you find there are some situations that are not controllable, like those schools in rural area, you can't find internet, you can't find electricity or what. But I know that with the help of the government, this can be possible. So I would give one example of a school that I know. It's in a rural area, and when we closed, we went home. And then what people were doing, because you see now most of us use internet, and most of us are connected to different social media platforms like WhatsApp. I know now, like in this country, you might find that a great number of people, young people, are using WhatsApp. So what is good now is we need to see if we are using all these opportunities in a way which is benefiting us. So I know someone at that school came with an idea of sending materials to students, resources to read to students. So they were not teaching, but they were engaging students so that they stay in that mood of studying. So they tried to engage students, sharing materials, sharing different things to read, so they could tell students. So if you don't have WhatsApp, you might have someone in your family using WhatsApp. So feel free to tell your father, feel free to tell your mother to give you her phone or his phone for 5 minutes, and then you are going to see what we've shared. If there are things that you need to read, so you are going to ask, maybe if it's time for sleeping, the owner of the phone is sleeping, now you can borrow the phone, then you take the phone, then you read, for you to stay in that mode of studying, because we did not know when are we back. And you know, when you take a long time without doing something, you end up forgetting. So we tried our best, and we used social media like all those other people who tried that. And I think even though you might see that there is no opportunity, there is another way you can find a solution for a particular problem. Yes.
That's really, really interesting. Thanks.